John Finn and Shane Heyer. Alan Bester opens up in the goal to our right for Toronto, and Alain Chevrier down to our left for Chicago is the draw. A shot into the lead zone. Ramage back for Toronto. Hammers it up the boards to Clark. He put it to center where McIntyre couldn't gather it in. And back in his own end, Ramage banks it off the far side. Clark's pass picked off by Manson. And now here's a lead for Creighton, but Adam Creighton was in just ahead of the play.
Creighton reaching behind him for that pass. It was intended for Dirk Graham.
Last night, Adam Creighton did not score a goal. That was the first time after a 6-game goal-scoring streak he'd been held without a goal of his own.
Alain Chevrier getting the start for the Blackhawks. Luce not making the trip, coming back after missing 4 games with a groin injury. Re-injured the groin. Chevrier's never lost as a Blackhawk against Toronto. He has 3 wins. And Bester coming off a red-hot performance last night, stopping 39 Blackhawk shots.
The draw shot into the Chicago zone. Cleared to the far side, taken by Troy Murray. Murray to center, will crank it into the lead zone. Bounce in front to Graham, just over his stick, though. Now Sanapass just up from Indianapolis. Everett Sanapass cleared it around to the far side. Has it himself. Looks to put it in behind the net. Now Brian Curran seals for the Leafs and tries to clear it, deflects back to center ice. Keith Brown, his speed broken up by Fergus. Looking for Danfus, but Brown corralled him. Now Fergus got to it in the Hawk zone. Cleared it in front, centering pass, just missing Marois, who was all alone on the doorstep. And now the Hawks' Troy Murray able to flip it out to the center ice area. Vincent Danfus puts it back into Chicago territory. Savard is on it. Dennis Savard mishandled it. He gave it away. Lehman trying to walk in front, but Brown stopped him. And now Savard has it again. Dropped it to Cam Russell, one of 3 players who just came up from Indianapolis for Chicago. Russell, Sanapass, and Vince Alette have all been brought up by Mike Keenan. Now it's in the Hawk zone. A centering pass stolen by Savard. He cleared it to center, and Dan Vincelette, or rather Larmer. Larmer trying to move in there, and the Hawks Gilbert well offside on the play.
Well, bringing 3 guys up from Indianapolis, it does 2 things. It really stirs up the Blackhawk roster. It notifies them that Keenan means business.
Face off in the neutral zone, taken by the Leafs, Todd Gill. Gave it to the Toronto captain, Ramage. Now Franceschetti into the Hawk zone. Manson put him right on the seat of his pants. Cleared to the far side. Ramage is wide open at the line. Here's the long shot, and a save by Chevrier. Rebound to Roenick. Jeremy Roenick will dump it into the Toronto zone. And then Roenick was leveled, I believe, by Franceschetti. The play goes on. Here's Roenick back on his feet. He got a high stick on Clark, and there's going to be a penalty coming up against Chicago. Wendell Clark backing off, realizing that Roenick was going to get a penalty, but I don't think Roenick will be finished with Wendell Clark tonight. He's not the type to let something like that slip away. Early in the game, the Leafs will head to the power play. There's no score. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey.
Dave Manson with a little extracurricular activity on Franceschetti. Franceschetti didn't like that, so he takes it out on the rookie Roenick. And then Roenick got the stick up on Clark, who charged at him, but no charging penalty. A cross-checking penalty on Roenick, and the Leafs get the first power play. They scored 1 power play goal last night, but they could have scored 5 power plays. That's how much control and pressure they had on the Blackhawks with the power play. They didn't get many breaks around the net.
Now Lehman on the right wing boards in the Hawk zone. He's tied up along the far side, and Larmer steals and clears. Here's Ramage. Clearing it over the Hawk line. Olczyk had it taken away there. Troy Murray bumped along the far board at center. And Curvers now picks it up for Toronto. Tom Curvers sends it up the near side to Osborne. Now Ramage will be forced to turn. Here's a lead, and Lehman fell down. Puck lay free into the Hawk zone, and Brown has room as he gets backcourt. And he'll fire it down all the way. And a big difference from last night. Here, the first minute of this Toronto power play has gone nowhere. Here's Curvers, flipping it over the line to Danfus. Vincent Danfus bumped behind the net by Conroy. Came loose on the near side to Curvers. Curvers took a bump from Adam Creighton out to the line. Here's Iafrate shooting. Tip, hit the goal post. Rebound, they score! Daniel Merwa picks up the rebound after the first shot was deflected off the pipe. And it's 1-0 Toronto.
Well, the Leafs react quicker. They realize the rebound opportunity. Merwa sneaks in behind and shovels the backhand after the deflected shot from the point hit the goalpost. Hit the near goalpost. Shot deflected by Danfus off the post in behind Chevrier. Merwa gets away from Conroy and shovels the backhander in before Chevrier could get back in and cover up. So the first goal of the game, Toronto on the power play at 3:48 from Iafrate and Danfus. Meanwhile, Doug Wilson has gone to the Hawk locker room, hopefully for equipment repairs.
So Daniel Merwa scores his 13th of the year, and Toronto is on the board early. Dave Reed now on the left wing board. Reed gave it to Daou. His long shot doesn't get through Conroy. Now shoveled to the net, and Chevrier will glove it and hang on.
Chevrier, who has only won twice in his last 8 games, but is undefeated as a Blackhawk against the Toronto Maple Leafs, winning 3 games last season, beginning of this year. He came out to challenge the shot, had it deflect by him, and was too far out of the net to recover. Narwhal with the quick hands was able to react to the rebound quicker than Conroy, who had his back to the front of the net.
Now here's Manson coming out of his own end, cleared it over the line. Van Dorp took a bump from Iafrate. Van Dorp carried onto the corner though. Now trying to center it, doesn't get through. Came to Conroy, whose shot is blocked. Here come the Leafs 3-on-2. John Kordic put it over the line. Daou on the far side for Kordic in front. Shoot! Chevrier, big save. Rebound to Chicago, and Van Dorp carries the center with a long shot. And Fester gloves it easily to Gill. Gill flipped it to center ice. Hawks have 6 players out there, and this will be their 3rd too many men on the ice penalty in the last 4 periods of play.
Well, obviously there's something awry. They had 6 players on the ice for the longest time, but John Kordic, who has a career high 7 goals this year, passes it to Daou. Now Kordic backs off, does the wise thing, gives Daou an outlet while the other forward, Reed, goes to the net, and Chevrier makes the save. I believe it caught him in the mask. And then the Blackhawks get caught with 6 players on the ice for the longest time. That's the 3rd time.
That wasn't just a bad change. There were 6 out there. I mean, that was just total confusion in that situation. That was not a case of somebody jumping on the ice before the 5-foot buffer zone. There were just 6 red sweaters out there right in the middle of the ice. Here's the draw to Larmer with a quick wrist shot. Fester stops it to Ramage. Now Curvers sends Olczyk on his way at center. Olczyk on the right side crossing the line for Osborne. It deflects into the corner. Now Larmer after it there. He took a bump, but Manson picks it up and clears out to center ice. Tom Curvers gave it to Ramage. They'll dump it into Chicago territory. Olczyk to the far corner, pushed it behind the net. Lehman winds it around the boards. Curvers at the line. Up the near side to Lehman. He's got the big shot, but he centered it. Here's Olczyk, and a save by Chevrier, and then the goal jammed off as Olczyk was pushed in there. Brilliant passing by the Leafs again, as they showed us all night last night on their power play.
Well, they didn't keep possession of the puck very long. They moved it around beautifully. Dumped into Osborne. The quick, soft pass to Olczyk. Olczyk couldn't put it up, and he just put it right into the armpit of Chevrier. Lehman into Osborne. This is an excellent hockey line. And Chevrier somehow makes the save with the left arm, and then the Hawks knocked the net off the moorings as Olczyk was cross-checked into the net, and then Larmer was able to clear. Olczyk was an 11-game scoring streak on the line. Won't get better chances than that one.
Now into the Hog zone. Russell stands up, his man along the board. Troy Murray on the counterattack, steps into the lead zone, cuts into the slot, shooting, he scores! Troy Murray, a short-handed goal after going 16 in a row without a goal. Murray comes up big for the Hogs, and it's tied at 1.
13, the magic number tonight. Marois scores his 13th on the power play, but Troy Murray, who's been struggling offensively, makes a nice move. This is the type of hockey Troy Murray was playing the first 6 weeks of the season. But he hadn't scored a goal since November 11th against the New York Islanders, but he makes a great move, catches up with it, and fires a wrist shot, a shorthanded goal to tie the game.
They say Troy Murray is 13th from Adam Creighton at 5:47. We'll see if Cam Russell doesn't figure in that scoring, and I believe he should. Now, here's a two-line pass made by Chicago.
Penalty killing was the key last night as far as Toronto was concerned. Troy Murray gets his 13th of the year.
Great shot, too, as he drifted to his right in the slot and shot it back just inside the left post. .40 seconds left on the Toronto power play. Doug Carpenter in his second stint as an NHL head coach. He was in New Jersey a few years ago. After many, many years in the minor league. Here's the draw. The Hawks get control, and Conroy clears. Now here come the Leafs away. Olczyk bangs it into the Chicago zone. On the near side, Graham couldn't clear it. Olczyk centered it. Here's Lehman, put it in front. Gill couldn't find it. I'm afraid he does, and he rockets it wide. Picked up by Graham. Dirk Graham on right wing to the Leaf line. Faking the shot, trying to walk around Gill, but Todd Gill played the body nicely. And as the Leafs come away, the Hawks penalty is over. Both teams at full strength. Now in the Toronto zone, Ramage flipped it to center. Greg Gilbert able to pound it back into the Toronto zone, taken by Curran. Now Clark on the left wing. Clearing to center, bouncing around there. Finally corralled by Savard to Gilbert. Greg Gilbert put it on the stick of Brown. Dumping it in. Ramage clears it right back out. Now it's flipped into the Toronto zone. Curran. Ryan Curran ahead to Wendell Clark. He clears it in. Curran in. Hudson dropped the glove. Curran, a big right hand, and he leveled Mike Hudson at center ice. They collided on the boards after Curran made the lead pass. They had words and squared off, and Mike Hudson is hurt. Brian Curran just leveled him with a big right hand, and Hudson certainly not shy about challenging the bigger Curran, but he paid the price. So some penalties are on the way with 12 and a half to go in the first. It's 1-1. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey.
Brian Curran, the former Islander, a former tough guy with the Islanders, plays that role here with the Blackhawks. Hudson tried to rub him off the puck, and then they got centered at center ice, and Curran with a haymaker, a right that got Hudson and flattened him. Hudson went off the ice with a cut hand. Well, Curran did the same thing to Van Dorp last night with a one-punch type situation.
Now Santa pass trying to center one. It doesn't get through. Sutter into the far corner. Poked it in front, and Van Dorp couldn't get any wood on it. Back into the Hog zone goes Manson. Manson to the near side. Sutter cleared it to center ice. Leafs dump it back in. It's picked up by Conroy. Beating Santa Pass, who's playing center on this shift, got it to Sutter. Over the line for Manson, who caught the play, cuts in front, shooting. Messer, nice save is Manson. Had a good decision to catch the play and had an excellent scoring chance out of it. Now Todd Gill. Long feed to Daou. Or John Cordick clearing it in. Taken by Cam Russell. Off rookie defenseman. Russell able to clear it into the Toronto zone. Troy Murray got there to save icing. Back to the line, Brown. It hopped over his stick, though. And back into the Leaf zone is Gill. Todd Gill trying to clear it. Held in by Graham. He centers one. It deflects wide. And Ramage behind the net. Got it to Fergus. He pushes it into the center ice area. Taken by Keith Brown. Now Graham gets it back into Toronto territory as the Hawks head for a change. Vincent Damphousse on left wing. Now Gilbert and Ramage slashing one another back and forth. Coincidental slashing penalties to Gilbert and Ramage. Here comes Manson trying to center. It's picked off by the Leafs' Iafrate. He got it to center and Lehman. Lehman has Olczyk over the line but missed him with a pass. Now he centered one and Santa Paz stole that. Then he missed Savard, who was 5 feet away from him. Couldn't put the puck on his stick. It slides down into the Leaf zone. Back of the net, Savard. He's harassed by Brad Marsh. Now they bang away along the boards. Savard unable to make a pass in front, and now the net dislodged as Larmer was driven in there.
Well, physical start to this first half of the first period. Carried over from last night's game where Toronto had an edge in the physical department. They took the body on Toronto or on the Blackhawks and took advantages of certain players on the Blackhawks team. Steve Larmer, namely, was one guy that was really worked over. Creighton as well, too. Blackhawks trying to reestablish a physical presence here in the first half, trying to be more aggressive than they were last night, and a disappointing loss at home to Toronto. Brad Marsh is a few games away from his 900th career game.
One of those guys that fits the description perfectly of what you talked about right at the outset, a role player type of guy, that type of person that Toronto's been looking for the last couple of years.
Well, he and Ramage bring a world of experience to their defense. That's been their problem throughout the 80s anyway, and part of the 70s, but they've got a great work ethic and they've got good leadership, and it's paid dividends so far.
Now the draw. Here come 2-on-1 for the Leafs. McIntyre over the line on his backhander. Now he shoots one, and a save by Chevrier. Rebound cleared out to center ice. Taken by Gill for Franceschetti. Lou Franceschetti gave it back to Todd Gill in his own end. Now back of the Leaf goal, Gill. Sends it up the middle to Franceschetti. Nice slip pass ahead to Cordick over the line. John Cordick trying to make a pass and whiffed on it. And once again, the goal knocked off the mooring. In the Toronto zone, Daou comes out to center ice, putting it into the Hog zone. Dirk Graham put it to the far side. Clark dug it out of there for Daou. He shoots one, and a save by Chevrier. There'll be a penalty coming up here against Chicago, I believe, and the Leafs are going to head to another power play chance as Manson will be sent off.
Third power play in a row for Toronto. They scored the first goal in the power play. The Blackhawks countered with a shorthander on the second Leaf power play, but a cross-checking penalty on Manson.
2 minutes for cross-checking. Time 11:21.
Manson, after Graham run into by both Clark and Reed. The penalty came well after that as Manson came out and cross-checked Clark in the back. And the Leafs get their third straight power play. The Leafs had a 6-3 power play edge in the first half of last night's contest.
Now ready to the left of Chevrier. Here's the draw taken by Brown. Puts it around the boards, and it's slipped by Iafrate out to center. Tom Fergus Gave it to Curvers. His pass deflecting back into the Toronto end. Now Fergus has trouble with Troy Murray. Stolen away by Conroy. And his clearing effort winds up in the seat. Now another scuffle at center as Fergus and Murray grab one another. Troy Murray and Tom Fergus in a wrestling match. Now Murray got the right hand loose and landed an uppercut. Fergus tries to answer. Neither one landing a couple of haymakers. And then Fergus got one in. And now they wrestle to the ice. Well, Troy Murray landed a solid punch early, and Fergus landed a solid one late.
The two cranky teams, that's for sure. Hawks getting in at 4:30 in the morning. The Leafs coming in on a prop plane that had no heat for over an hour and a half. These guys will be glad when this one's over.
Happy holidays. 8 minutes left in the first. 1-1. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey.
Number 19, Troy Murray. 2 minutes for holding, 2 minutes for slashing, 5 minutes for fighting. Toronto penalty to number 19, Tom Fergus. 2 minutes for holding, 2 minutes for slashing, 5 minutes for fighting. Time 11:47.
Troy Murray puts a hook into the midsection, a little couple of extra hooks. Fergus takes exception to it. Whistle blows, they stare each other down and then get involved. Both gone for 9 minutes, and only 8 minutes, 13 seconds to go in the first period, so they're both gone to their respective locker rooms.
Still a minute and a half left now on the Toronto power play. There's the draw. Taken by Marois into the Hawk zone, leaving for Danfus. Vincent Danfus on the far side. Now harassed by Brown, who's out high. Came loose at the line, held in by Ramage. Side of the net, Clark with a 2-on-1. Shoots one and a save by Chevrier. Rebound Clark behind the net. Poked it free on the near board. Larmer trying to jam it out, couldn't do it. Danfus centered it. Clark a backhander. Brown blocks it to Larmer, and he clears. The Leafs lulled Keith Brown out high in the box defense, allowing the Toronto team to get it in deep, and they had a 2-on-1 around the goal mouth, but Chevrier made a big stop.
Both times, both defensemen, Brown and Conroy, got caught almost up to the blue line. A rule of thumb, you don't want your defense to go past the hash marks to chase anyone.
Wendell Clark into the Hawk zone. Russell took him off the puck, and it's cleared back the other way. Half a minute left on the Leaf power play. Ramage gave it to Osborne. Mark Osborne puts Olczyk over the line. Back to Osborne. Bob Murray, this may be his first shift of the game. He took his man off the puck, and the Hawks clear it down into the Toronto zone.
Well, he angled him off into the boards, and then Gilbert came in behind him and hoisted a backhand into the Toronto zone.
Now young Cam Russell looking to clear it. Bouncing it center to Roenick. He couldn't pick it up. Olczyk does. Both teams, meanwhile, are back at full strength as the Hawk penalty expires. Olczyk flips it in. Chevrier mishandled it, and Russell saved a goal. Now in the near circle, Olczyk gave it to Osborne. Cam Russell, Johnny on the spot as Chevrier misplayed a loose puck and nearly cost himself a goal. There's Lehman in the Hawk zone for Osborne. Now Olczyk, he scores! He bounced it in off a Hawk player, I believe. And it's 2-1 Toronto.
This shift had disaster written all over right from the onset. Chevrier mishandles it. It almost goes in his own net. Mishandled it behind the net again the second time. Got back into the crease, went down, and tried to smother it, but Olczyk comes from nowhere, surprises him. His shot, I think, hits the foot of Bob Murray and deflects up over Chevrier. But Chevrier, a tough shift right off the bat. Mishandling it once, and then mishandling a clearing attempt in behind, and then went to freeze it, and was surprised by Olczyk.
Olczyk from Osborne and Lehman at 13:46. And now here we go again. Sutter and Franceschetti right off the face-off drop the glove. Wrestling for the most part up against the board. Wayne Sutter and Lou Franceschetti. Sutter has not played in 6 of the last 8 Chicago games. And back in the lineup tonight trying to slow down this Toronto physicality, and there's been an awful lot of chippy play here in the first period. Nothing out of 9 last night. There's 6 out of their last 31 overall. And a key time in the game last night was at the start of the third period. In a 2-2 game, Chicago had a 4-minute power play, failed to score on it, and failed to generate very much. The Leafs, inspired by that, then scored 2 goals in less than half a minute shortly after killing off the Hawk power play. And that was pretty well all she wrote.
The Leafs have only allowed 4 power play goals against in their last 10 games. They've killed 49 of 53 shorthanded situations.
Now in the Toronto zone, Bob Murray in the corner got run over by Iafrate. Puck came loose to the Leafs. Reed to Iafrate, going to be 2-on-1. Iafrate over the line with Daou. Centered it. Larmer got back to catch Dan Daou nicely. Here come the Hawks back. Savard on the far side. Couldn't field the lead from Murray. Into the corner it goes. Iafrate unable to clear it. Bouncing around to the slot area. Came loose to Bob Murray. His shot. Shot it wide. Manson at the far point. Up the boards to Savard. Bounced away to Iafrate. He hacked it, not out. Manson keeps it in deep slot. Trying to center it, Larmer. A diving poke check by Iafrate before he could pull the trigger. Marsh steals and clears.
The Blackhawks, without the services of Doug Wilson, who left early in the first period, has not returned, and they sorely need his offense on the power play.
Here's Everett Sanapath. Dumping it into the Toronto zone. Gilbert on the near side. His pass picked off. Then Bob Murray kept it in nicely. He centered it. Tip. Big save by Besser on Gilbert. And now Besser grabs the loose puck and hangs on. A nifty deflection by Greg Gilbert between his legs with his back to the net. As Bob Murray put it right there for him. But a fine save again by Alan Besser.
Well, Bob Murray didn't try to... All he was trying to do was get it into Gilbert to deflect it. He wasn't trying to shoot on net. But Steve Larmer, who does it at both ends of the ice, back checks to break up a 2-on-1 confrontation, caught up with Daou and knocked him away from the potential pass from Iafrate. So Steve Larmer, a terrific two-way hockey player. Alan Bester comes up with a big save, maybe his best of the hockey game, on a neat deflection from a shot by Bob Murray. Gilbert in front. Gilbert has been hot with 3 goals and 3 assists in his last 3 games.
The final half minute of this power play for Mike Keenan has 4 kids and a guy in his 15th year. Roenick is out there between Vincelette and Sanapath, both of whom just up from Indy. Here's the 15-year man, Bob Murray. He shot it wide. And rookie Russell now at the far point. A long slip shot. Bester stopped it. Rebound. And Daou clears.
Might as well try anything. Keenan looking for some sort of combination to work on the power play. Power play cost him the game last night.
Here's Jeremy Roenick on the move, crossing the Toronto line. Weaving to the far side, centered one. It didn't get through Ramage. Now back of the goal, came loose to Bob Murray. His long shot missed the target. Russell kept it in there. Ramage behind the Toronto goal. Swings it around the boards, and Marois deflects to center ice. The penalty over. Both teams back at full strength. Here's Daou into the Hawk zone, shooting. Chevrier the pad save. Rebound Van Dorp. Wayne Van Dorp. A long wrist shot. Besser stopped it easily. Now at center ice. Graham got leveled by Todd Gill. And the physical play continues from Toronto. That a good clean hit from Gill, and he just railroaded Graham. Now Adam Creighton at center ice. Puts Graham over the Leaf line. Poke checked in traffic, came to Van Dorp, cutting in there, shoot. Shot it wide. And now taken by Wendell Clark. When we get a second, the Hawks have gotten some bad news on a couple of their injured players here in the first period. Deep in the lead zone, Turvers put it to the near board. Clark couldn't clear it. Now to the far side. Brian Curran unable to get it out of there. Big scrum along the far side, and finally cleared deep into the lead zone, but an offside call made here against Chicago. And the physical nature of this game is started right at the opening face-off and has continued throughout the first period. And
Doug Wilson in the first period, the first part of the first period, a gash across his knee, a skate cut him. He's gone to the hospital to be stitched up. Mike Hudson, in an altercation with Curran, had his hand cut by a skate. So 2 players gone, probably for the entire game. I don't believe Hudson or Wilson will come back.
To go in the first period, 2-1 in favor of the Maple Leafs. Here's Bob Murray. He gave it to Gilbert, shooting it in. Brad Marsh trying to clear it, held in by Manson. A long shot and a save by Bester as Vanapass was cruising in front of the net and just barely missed redirecting that.
Well, Bester, very confident, challenges the shot, comes out of the crease, and gets his body in front of it. Manson, who scored last night to make it a 4-3 hockey game. Vanapass in front, cutting in front, deflecting it. Larmer there as well. But Bester with a good job of protecting the puck, not giving up a loose puck.
Now here's the draw right to Gilbert. A quick shot. His backhander hit the side of the goal. And Iafrate comes away for Toronto. Cleared it to the right wing board. Too far for Lehman. Bounced loose to Olczyk. He's centered. Came to the line. Marsh a long shot. Doesn't get through Larmer. And now Brad Marsh trying to dump it in, but Manson able to gather it in for Chicago. Gave it to Steve Conroy, putting it into the Toronto end. Mark Osborne on the left side. Able to slip it ahead to Lehman. Gary Lehman knocked down by Roenick. And Creighton now on a delayed offside call. The whistle sounds. Now it's dumped into the Toronto zone. Todd Gill just turns and makes the safe play. He wasn't sure what to do with it and flips it down the length of the ice. An icing call against Toronto. Nothing wrong with that. Even though you're at home and the fans might get a little upset about it, Todd Gill made the safe play late in the period.
Well, Russell, his 4th game ever in the National Hockey League. Will get a lot of opportunity to get some ice time tonight. Doug Wilson probably lost for the game with a bad cut across the knee. Russell just called up. It's the 3rd time he's been called up, only his 4th game. Played in the Quebec Junior League, a 3rd-round pick. He reminds me a lot of former Washington Capital and Canadian defenseman Rick Green. Has the same type of mannerisms and was very defensive-minded.
Well, if his career parallels Rick Green's, that'll be quite an achievement for the young man. He played a long time and very effectively without a lot of notoriety. Here's Roenick and a big save by Bester. And now Roenick got leveled, and here we go again in the corner. Big scramble as Roenick got leveled after he tried to stuff one past Bester, and a couple of Hawk teammates come to his aid.
Well, Gill coming across well after the whistle. The puck was under Olczyk. He was trying to freeze it. Puck under him. The whistle blew, and then Gill just leveled Roenick. Well, Bester comes up with a big save on Roenick. He came up with a few quality saves on Roenick last night on the backhand from in close. Roenick was in close, didn't get much on it. He couldn't put it over Bester. Bester coming back from the minors with a lot of confidence. Roenick picks up the passes, backhand, turns, shoots, tries to go low to the glove side. Olczyk on top of it, and Roenick run over by Gill after the whistle, and Vince Gillette comes in. Vanna passes well. Bester, as he did last night, shuts the door once again on the Blackhawks' chances. Todd Gill, very assertive tonight. A solid hit earlier on Graham, and then he flattens the rookie Roenick. Jeremy Roenick with 13 points in his last 7 games. A tough period for Roenick. He's been run over a couple of times. Got hit by Franceschetti. Into an altercation with Clark that resulted in a cross-checking penalty on Roenick as he tried to protect himself, and then he gets flattened by Gill with less than a minute to go in the first period. A penalty-filled first period, a physical first period.
Now here's the draw. Brad Marsh tied up along the board. Game loose to Iafrate. Al Iafrate trying to wind it up for Toronto. Stopped at center by Santapass nicely, and Creighton then took a bump from Osborne and couldn't carry it in. Back into the Hawk zone it goes, taken by Creighton. Put it out to center ice, and the Leafs will dump it in. Dave Manson now sends it ahead to Graham. Dirk Graham harassed by Reed, and he lost the handle. Now Marsh for the Leafs. Putting it into the Hawk zone. Russell falling down as he scooted backboard. Now back on his feet around the boards, and that'll do it for the first period. And now Graham and McIntyre. Graham with a right hand landing on McIntyre as they started to come together, and now everybody gathers in the corner, and we have a couple of potential altercations here. Graham and now, Savard got hit by Lehman. Gary Lehman's all over Savard with a left. And Savard trying to go into the turtle. He's not a fighter at all, and Lehman really giving it to him. And now they pile up behind the Hawk net. Gary Lehman, and now Savard tries to answer, and Lehman goes into the turtle. But Lehman, a much bigger player, giving Savard a problem, and now an irate Dennis Savard trying to answer with referee Van Helleman in between.
Dirk Graham just drifted McIntyre with a straight right as the horn blew, and then a bunch of players piled in, and then Lehman teed off on Savard.
Oh, and now Graham is he's going to get that 3 game from the linesman, I bet. He's given a hard time. Oh, then Savard
just suckered Lehman.
Savard suckered Lehman, and he sure did after Graham got away from the linesman. Now we have Russell in a scuffle along with Curran, and they tumble to the ice. And Manson trying to get involved in that. Graham giving Ron Finn a tough time. He got away from him to go after Lehman.
Well, Lehman got a taste of his own medicine. He suckered Savard. Savard got back at him. It's totally unnecessary on Lehman's part, and now Savard wants to get back at him. Graham wanted to get back at Lehman. So a whole mess of penalties now. Manson's going to get thrown out too.
Now Savard
and
Lehman get squared off again. Finn he can't get Dirk Graham off the ice. Dirk Graham's going to get suspended, I feel sure. And meanwhile, Savard and Lehman are at center ice squaring off. This will be their 3rd time coming together if it happens. Well, a big melee here at the end of the first period. So far, everybody else has remained on the bench. Lehman and Savard still eyeballing one another. Nothing happening yet. Russell and Kern have been tackled behind the Hawk goal. They have Shane Heyer laying on top of them. Lehman and Savard still shadow boxing a little bit. Nobody's going to get it going yet. Lehman tries and missed. Now they come together. And here comes Manson. Oh, he jumped right over Finn to get at Lehman, and Manson's all over Lehman from behind. Wendell Clark's nearly going to come off the bench. He stays on, though. And we have a mess in Maple Leaf Gardens. There are going to be a couple of suspensions out of this deal. You can be sure of that. And Savard now coming out of there, and Van Hellemond grabbing him by the seat of the pants to get him into the locker room. And looks like now everybody's starting. Dirk Graham's still on the ice. They still haven't been able to get him out of there.
Well, Lehman started the mess after Graham got involved with McIntyre, and he sucker punched Savard, and then all heck broke loose. Some unnecessary, total nonsense at the end of the period, and there'll be some severe suspensions because of it, and Manson and Graham will probably get most of the damage.
All right. Van Hellemond now over to the Hawk bench to try to get them to leave in an orderly manner. When Manson came jumping over the top of Finn to get at the Toronto player, Wendell Clark stepped on the ice and he was grabbed by a teammate. Otherwise, the benches would have emptied too. And now the Hawks head off to the locker room after a tumultuous first period with a ending full of fireworks. Well, Andy Van Hellemond will have a very lengthy report to fill out after this game is over. Have a 5-minute power play here to start the second period. And the Hawks, to finish this game, will be without their two top rushing defensemen. Dave Manson, of course, is done for the night, probably for longer. And Doug Wilson is, we told you, got cut by a skate. Has been taken to the hospital for stitches on the knee because of a gash created by a skate blade.
Hudson gone as well. An altercation with Kern, had his hand stepped on, and he has a cut on his hand. Manson's gone. The three players gone. Savard's gone.
Well, sir, I'm sure there'll be more than this, but we can say for certain that Manson, with 3-game misconduct given in this situation, will qualify for a 2-game suspension already, just with that. And depending on the report handed in by Andy Van Hellemond, there is certainly every possibility that suspension will be extended. Van Hellemond's talked it over with both coaches. Now he's back over with Keenan to try to explain or answer the questions that Mike Keenan has.
Well, I'm sure it's about the Dennis Savard penalty, an extra 5-minute fighting penalty in the 5-minute power play, obviously, to start. I can see the Leafs getting a power play out of the situation because it was all instigated by Dirk Graham, who started it off instigating with McIntyre. But why Savard gets 2 5-minute penalties besides his game and Lehman only gets a 2-minute penalty, I can't figure it out. Well,
all right, well, all the explaining has been done.
Not quite.
All right, now Van Hellemond's ready to drop the puck in. A 5-minute Toronto power play here to start the second period. Here's the draw taken by Brown. He clears. Tom Curvers back for the lead. He cleared it to center. Ramage ahead for Osborne. Lost it over the Hawk line. Conroy put it to center ice. Curvers able to chop it over to Ramage on the near side. Now the Leafs. Marois trying to dump it in. It sails upstairs into the crowd.
Turning point in last night's contest, the first 4 minutes of the third period, the Hawks had a power play. Didn't capitalize on it. Didn't get much going at all on it. The Leafs scored 2 goals in 18 seconds. Same type of situation here for Toronto. If they're able to score a couple of goals with a 5-minute power play, obviously they're in the driver's seat.
Ron Finn sporting the effects. I'm not sure if that's from this altercation, but a bit of a shiner under his right eye as he drops the puck. It's taken by Ramage, chopping it to the neutral zone. Bob Murray broke up the rush for a moment. Now Murray, with help from Roenick, able to clear it back into the Leaf zone. Iafrate deep in his own end, trying to wind it up. His pass deflecting, and Ramage carries on. Clearing it to the Hawk line, broken up there by Cam Russell, and he bangs it down all the way. In the first minute of the Leaf power play, they haven't been able to get it into the Chicago zone. Now, Larmer nearly stole one, but Danfus moved to center where Creighton jostled him along the boards. Slipped into the Hawk zone. Clark into the corner. Wendell Clark tied up by Conroy. Now came loose to the far side. Clark there. Put it out to the line. Curvers had it taken away by Larmer. Clearing it back into the Leaf zone. And the Hawk bench is furious as Larmer was knocked to the ice trying to chase the loose puck. Now back into the Leaf end. Here's Clark, or the Hawk end rather. Clark knocked down in the far corner. Daou came up with it there. Out to the line, Curvers, near point Ramage. Ramage winds it around the board. All the way to the far point, Curvers, a long shot. Sailing wide, here's Ramage. His shot, tip, they score! Right out of midair. Wendell Clark, a brilliant redirection. The Hawks argue it was a high stick. Van Helleman says no. I think he was right. It's 3-1 Toronto.
Tough to tell from our vantage point up in the rafters here at Maple Leaf Gardens, but Chevrier missed it with the blocker, and it hit Clark, hit him in the shaft of the stick, and it knocked it down. Hard to see if it was above the shoulders. Good call by Van Helleman. It was around the blue stripe of the jersey, or just above the waist. It hit the shaft of Clark's stick and knocked it down and into the net. Goal coming with 2:54 remaining on the 5-minute penalty.
Clark from Ramage and Curvers at 2:05. Second power play goal for Toronto. They lead 3-1. And here's Olczyk dumping it in still with the extra man. Osborne far corner. Out to the line. Here's Curvers trying to center it. Olczyk tips it in front. Chevrier blocks the pass, and Creighton gathers it in. Adam Creighton trying to clear it. He did get it back into the Leaf zone. Mark Osborne got it to Curvers. Got it into the Hawk zone. Chevrier looking to clear, failed to get it out. Iafrate then lost it to Troy Murray, and he cleared. 2 minutes left on the Leaf power play. Now out to center ice, Fergus. Tom Fergus nearly blew a gasket there, but it's cleared to Danfus into the Chicago zone for Clark. Clark turning on the near side. To the line, Ramage. Here it comes. Deflected up over the glass. Into the crowd.
Rob Ramage, who had a lot of success on the point in the power play with the St. Louis Blues. Won the Stanley Cup last year with Calgary. Let go this year by Calgary in a trade to the Leafs. Approaching his 800th career game. Has a heavy shot from the point. Likes to shoot it from the point. He and Curvers both very good at shooting. And Iafrate, a good offensive defenseman as well. So some new dimensions added to the Leaf power play this year with Curvers and Ramage.
Now Ramage in his own end. Ramage gave it to Fergus at center ice. Gets it to the Hawk line. Kordick on right wing. Poked it behind the net. Fergus. Tom Fergus. Bumped by Bob Murray. Now Danfus dug it loose. Got it to Fergus along the boards. Or Danfus turning behind the net. Vincent Danfus tried to center. Couldn't get it through. Ramage near point. Puts it. Oh, Shane Heyer was going to call it offside. Finn said no. Now a steal by Creighton, and he clears.
It was a good call. That puck never clearly crossed the blue line.
But Shane Hires put his whistle to his mouth. He was going to blow it dead, and Ron Finn made the safe sign to say it was onside. Here come the Leafs now. Put it into the far corner. Conroy shot it around the near side, and it trickles back to center ice. 45 seconds left on the Toronto power play. Kordick gave it away to Larmer. Centered it. Murray right in. Shoot. Hit the crossbar. Troy Murray going for his second shorthander of the game. Beat Bester only to have it hit the pipe. Now, Leafs get it into the Hawk zone, but a steal by Conroy. Looking to clear it and did bounce it to center. Rob Ramage trying to feed Olczyk, just barely failed to pick it up. Taken by Troy Murray. And he cleared it to center ice. Now Toronto's Curvers puts Olczyk into the Hawk zone. Bumped in the near corner by Conroy. Came loose along the boards, and out of the penalty box is Wayne Sutter, who had been serving the penalty. Both teams at full strength. Larmer over the line to Bob Murray for Sutter right in. A shot, and it trickled just wide. It got past Bester, and then Larmer, with an empty net, couldn't get any wood on the loose puck. As it trickled just wide, here's Clark cutting in. Bob Murray knocked him down behind the net. And Wayne Sutter picks it up. Got it to Everett Sanapass. And he dumps it into the Toronto zone, and then it winds up in the seats. 14.5 to go in the second. Leafs 3, Hawks 1. Cleared it to center. Here's Roenick. Jeremy Roenick putting it in behind the Toronto goal. Taken by Dan Daou. Long feed for Franceschetti, working in on Conroy, and Steve Conroy rides him off the play. Now Sanapass took a hit but pushed it to center ice. Iafrate sends it back into the Hawk zone. Conroy now flips it to the neutral zone. Danfus broke it up, steps over the line, 3-on-1. Here's the shot, and a save by Chevrier. Danfus moves behind, centered at Fergus. Had it poked away, and here comes Adam Creighton. Creighton into the Toronto zone. Unable to pull the trigger as Marois takes it away. Now it bounces off the glass and into the crowd. And the whistle sounds. 13 minutes to go in the second. Toronto 3, Chicago 1.
Maple Leafs come close to making a 4-1 hockey game, a 4-on-1 situation. Danfus doesn't make one pass and slaps it from 35 feet out. Bad play on Danfus' part. You got to move the puck around in a situation like that.
Rob Ramage bangs it to center. Fergus over the line to Marois. Centered it. Fergus couldn't get any wood on it. And Sutter trying to clear it. Works his way to center ice. Sutter into the Leaf zone against Marois to the corner, and Sutter wound up on the seat of his pants. Van Dorp trying to come up with it. He's knocked down by Gill. Now Troy Murray. His pass couldn't get through to Sutter, who was open in front. There'll be a Leaf penalty as Troy Murray was knocked down behind the net. And now a little pushing and shoving in behind the Leaf goal. Everybody beginning to cool off, but it would appear that the Blackhawks are going to head to the power play here.
Rob Ramage gets a holding penalty, and the Blackhawks get a power play. They're second of the game. They did not score on their first. The Leafs have had 5 power plays.
Bob Murray, top of the circle, shoots one. He fired it wide. Cam Russell couldn't hold it in. And back into the Hawk zone it goes. Russell got it to center. Here's Jeremy Roenick. In over the line, dropped it for Creighton. A shot right on and a save. Rebound, they score! How did Roenick get it in? A brilliant goal by Jeremy Roenick with a bouncing puck at nearly the goal line extended. Somehow he popped it into the open net, and the Hawks now trail 3-2.
Roenick carries it across the line, drops it to Creighton. Creighton gets all of it. Bester tries to get out of the way. He's leaning to his left. It hits him in the right shoulder. And Roenick, tied up, escapes behind the line out of midair, bats it in from a near impossible angle, and Bester can't believe it. And the Blackhawks score on the power play, and they trail 3-2.
Chicago goal scored by number 2, Jeremy Roenick.
Seventh goal for Roenick.
22, Adam Creighton. And number 28, Steve Larmer. Time 7:54.
So Jeremy Roenick continues his red-hot pace. After Mike Keaton, now here's Sutter right in front. Big save by Bester. And the rebound to the Leafs. McIntyre comes back into the Hawk zone. Rolled it in deep to the corner where Reed is bumped by Brown. And McIntyre dug it out, centered a shot. Chevrier, great save on Kerber. And back come the Blackhawks. Sanapath with a long drive, blocked by Bester. Rebound cleared to the far side. Larmer put it out to the line. Bob Murray. He swung it around the boards. Larmer back of the net. Larmer took a bump trying to center one. Now Gilbert after it. Had it poked loose to the near side. Russell centered one. Tipped right on. Rebound. They score! Bester made the save, and then Larmer bopped the rebound right underneath Bester. 2 quick goals for Chicago, and we're tied at 3.
The short-handed Blackhawks somehow finding a way, trailing 3-1. They score on the power play. They come right back. Bester made a great save on Sutter. Then he makes a good save on the deflection of the shot. Gilbert deflected it. Russell lets it go, deflected by Gilbert. Bester makes the save. Larmer out of midair knocks it down and through the legs of Bester. And Larmer scores and ties it up at 8:50.
Larmer from Russell and Gilbert at 9:50. 2 goals in 2 minutes for Chicago, and they're right back in and tied at 3. Bob Murray with a long shot. Doesn't get through. Troy Murray back of the net. Murray bumped on the far side. Now they jam away along the boards. And it came loose in behind the Leaf net. Roenick fought off a check to get to the puck. Leaves it in the corner. Now Roenick going back after it. He got knocked down by Clark, and Wendell Clark will get a penalty from Van Helleman here. And the Blackhawks head to the power play, having just tied this game at 3.
Wendell Clark tries to get even with Roenick for a Roenick cross-check in the first period. He gets too much of Roenick. Van Helleman calls a penalty. And the Blackhawks on their 3rd power play, looking to take the lead.
In the Leaf zone, it's cleared now out to center. Murray has it there. Gave it to Cam Russell. His pass broken up, and Ramage clears. Now Russell gave it to Creighton at center ice. Adam Creighton over the Toronto line, put it behind Larmer. Now he's able to pick it up, knocked down though. Creighton came up with it. Behind the net for Graham. Back to Creighton near corner, to the line Bob Murray. Far point Brown. Here's the centering pass. Tip, great save, rebound, they score! Larmer picked up his own rebound and again struck it underneath Bester. 2 straight goals for Larmer. The Hawks have scored 3 in a row. They lead 4-3.
Keith Brown, after getting the pass from Bob Murray, who had taken the place of Russell, every intention of hitting it towards Larmer. He wasn't trying to shoot it on net. Larmer deflected it and then got his own rebound and put it under a sprawled Alan Bester. Good play from Brown and good extra effort by Steve Larmer to score his 14th goal. Larmer with an assist and 2 goals in the second period. Now it's a 10-game scoring streak, 16 points in that span.
Larmer on the power play from Brown and Bob Murray at 10:18. 3 goals in less than 3 minutes for the Chicago Blackhawks, and now it's a 4-3 Hawk lead. Now the draw to the Leafs. Here's Fergus cutting in there. Now shoots one, and a save by Chevrier. Rebound Gilbert. Greg Gilbert has extended his point streak to 4. Puts it over the line. Troy Murray got run over by Iafrate as he tried to walk around him. Tom Fergus on the counterattack. Over the Hawk line, in traffic to Danfus. Turning on the far side. Vincent Danfus is pulled down. There'll be a penalty. Here's a shot and a save by Chevrier. Rebound to the Leafs. And meanwhile, the Hawks are ruled to have gotten possession, so the whistle sounds, and we have a scuffle around the Chicago net. The players are beginning to settle down here, and the Maple Leafs are going to get a power play chance of their own here.
This has been a very physical game. It's not a game for pansies, you might say. Troy Murray tries to go around Iafrate, and Iafrate just levels him. And then Troy Murray gets back at Iafrate and gets a penalty. And then they have a stare down, and a bunch of players get around him. Amazingly, no altercations here in this second period. But the Leafs, nevertheless, get their 6th power play chance. An opportunity to tie the game. They led 3-1 early in the second period, but the Hawks have scored 3 in a row and have a 4-3 lead. Hooking the call at 10:59 on Troy Murray.
Here's Danfus. He's tied up at center, but Marois, nearly gave it away. Got it through to Curvers, though. Steps over the line to Danfus. Centered it. Fergus deflecting it wide. Here's Marois. He tried to muscle it in, but Chevrier hugged the post, and the Hawks clear. Ramage quickly back ahead. Picked off by Conroy, though, and Larmer nearing to center ice. Rob Ramage ahead to Danfus. Over the Hawk line, put it into the corner. Olczyk centered it. Chevrier deflects it to the far board. Into the corner it goes. Now behind the net, Olczyk. And Olczyk centered it, deflected away. Nice play by Conroy. Otherwise, Ramage was in. And here's Roenick racing back the other way. Roenick cuts for the net. He shoots. Besser. Nice save as Roenick just put his head down and barreled to the front of the net. But Besser held him off. Now 45 seconds for the Leafs power play as Ramage. His pass is stolen by Gilbert. Trying to feed Adam Creighton, who's tied up. And it came loose to the Leafs. Osborne into the Chicago zone. Mark Osborne swings it around the boards. And picked off by Gilbert, and he clears. Todd Gill. No time for one more power play rush for the Leafs. To Iafrate. Gets it into the Hawk zone. Iafrate to the near corner is bumped. Chevrier trying to clear it. Hit his own man, Russell. Now a centering pass hits the skate and deflects back to the Toronto line. The Hawks penalty now over. Both teams back at full strength. Troy Murray right out of the box. The center pass. He shoots it up off the glass. Into the corner, Murray. Troy Murray trying to get away from Clark. He centered it behind Everett Santapac. And it's picked up by Olczyk, who bounces it out to center. Here's a 2-on-1 for the Leafs. Osborne over the line, cuts in, shooting. Chevrier, rebound, they score! Randall Clark on the third chance. And Clark ties this game at 4.
The two Hawk players collided the blue line, but Everett Santapac, instead of reaching up with his glove, just keep it in the offensive zone, swats at it, knocks it with his stick above his shoulder. Both Hawk players collide, 2-on-1 situation. Osborne gets his own rebound, then fails to put it in. Then Clark comes in and helps him out. Keith Brown didn't see Clark come in as Chevrier came out to challenge the shot, made the second save, but Clark came in and put it in to tie the game with 6:34 to go. But Santapac had a chance to knock it down with his glove. Instead, he tried to swat at it with a stick, knocked it down with a high stick, bumped into the defenseman, and the Leafs capitalized on an odd man breakout.
Wendell Clark's second goal of the game, 13th of the year. Osborne the assist at 13:26. And the seesaw affair is tied up once again. Now in the Hawk zone, McIntyre overskates it, but here's Ramage with a long shot. Doesn't get through. Reed kicked it loose behind the net. And Larmer able to pick it off for Chicago. Larmer on right wing, in on Mark. Crossing the line, crisscrossing, but Gilbert is ruled offside on the play with 6 minutes to go in the second period. Hawks 4, Leafs 4. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey. Hawks had early in the third period trailed 3-1. They caught and passed the Leafs, and now Toronto's caught them, and it's a 4-4 game. Todd Gill in his own end. To the far side, Franceschetti feeds Curvers. Got it ahead, picked up by Conroy. And now McIntyre is shaken up. John McIntyre writhing in agony in the Hawk zone as he crossed the line. He went down in a heap. And they're calling the Leaf trainer out to have a look at McIntyre.
Well, it might have been Conroy or Gilbert, but he was looking the opposite way, and he was run over just inside the Leaf blue or the Blackhawk blue line. His helmet came flying off, and he's holding his head. It's been a tough weekend for McIntyre. Manson wanted to get even with him last night, and then late at the end of the first period, he was drilled by Graham. He's been the target of many Blackhawks, and he is in a lot of pain. A rookie who's a feisty centerman, a hard-working centerman, another hard-working role player that the Leafs have implemented this year. McIntyre with his head down and just accidentally gets into Graham, or I should say Gilbert. He was off balance trying to drag the blue line, and in a precarious position accidentally ran into Gilbert with his head down, and he's in a lot of pain.
So McIntyre helped off to the Leaf dressing room, and he is in some difficulty, looking to be quite wobbly. And it's been that kind of game in Toronto tonight. Bodies flying all over the place, and at times fists and sticks also. There's the play into the Toronto zone. In the corner, Van Dorp dug it out, trying to move in front, couldn't do it. Now down Foose. Pushes it into the center ice area. Back into the Leaf zone. Troy Murray into the corner with Gill. Now at center ice, we got a fight. Here's Kordic and Russell. John Kordic and Cam Russell are slugging it out. Kordic with the left hand got a couple in, and Russell tries to answer. They're standing toe-to-toe. Kordic a lefty, and he's landed a couple of lefts. And now getting the better of it as the fight goes on. What are they taking the linesman so long?
Well, Russell's played every other shift. He's played at least half this period, was involved in all the Kordic played one shift, and the advantage clearly would go to a guy like Kordic, who his sole role is as an enforcer, and he fights a guy that's playing at least 7-8 minutes so far in the second period. Clearly, as the fight wears on, he's going to have an advantage, Kordic, and he did take advantage of it as the fight wore on. But Russell went toe-to-toe for a long time, and certainly he's got to be a tired youngster. Russell has really played well, with the Blackhawks losing Manson and Doug Wilson for the entire game.
And Russell, 5 minutes for fighting. Toronto penalty to number 27, John Kordic, 5 minutes for fighting. Time 14:42.
So the Hawks lose the services of another defenseman. Now they're down to 3. Russell, who got his first point of his NHL career in his 4th game, on Steve Larmer's goal to tie it up, gets involved in an altercation with a tough man, Kordic, but clearly the advantage goes to a guy like Kordic, who rarely sees the ice, well rested, and able to take advantage of a player who's been out there for a lot of the second period.
And the Chicago defense corps now consists of Bob Murray, Keith Brown, and Steve Conroy.
Meanwhile, Keenan is having conversation with the linesman about that same thing that you mentioned. Why wouldn't they have stepped in sooner? There's clearly Russell in a position to get really hurt badly after playing a lot of the second period. Kordic had him in a vulnerable position, and they didn't step in. And Keenan is, I bet you anything, that's what he's protesting.
Well, it was clear as it moved along. The linesmen were just standing by there, and it was clear that That thing was pretty well toward the end, and
Well, that's when
why
somebody
not
could really
step
get
in?
hurt.
That's when the serious situation could occur. Here's the draw to Conroy with a long shot. Bester stops it. Rebound down Foose. Coughed it up right to the net, but Bester swatted it away. Now Gilbert to the corner. Trying to center it, and the Leafs able to steal. Dumps into the Chicago zone. Conroy able to muscle there first to get the icing call. It'll be brought back into the Toronto zone.
Now the Blackhawks shorthanded, 2 by injury, 2 by ejection. And now Russell in the penalty box for the remainder of this period. Down to 3 defensemen. As a player, you really enjoy this type of situation. Gives you, if you win and you play well, and the Hawks have battled back down 3-1 was in a shorthanded situation. Now in a 4-4 hockey game, but if you play well and you win or tie on the road, considering you come in late at night, it gives you a feeling of accomplishment. And players know they're going to play every other shift, and you get into the game quickly, and you sometimes have your best night.
Let's see if that's the way it develops tonight. Here come the Leafs over the line. Olczyk shooting it in. And a pass on the far side. Put it around the boards. Vincelette got help from Creighton to clear it to center. Iafrate dumping it back in. Now a centering pass deflects to the slot. Iafrate a bullet, and he fired it wide. Osborne near side. Put it in behind the net. And the Hawks able to steal but can't clear. Iafrate for Osborne. Cutting in, centered it. Couldn't get it past Conroy. Now in the far corner, Clark. Back of the net to Olczyk. He leaves it there. Cleared to the near board. Vincelette. He'll just fire it back the other way and take an icing call here. Now the draw in the Chicago zone is underneath a couple of fallen players. So we'll try it again. Bob Murray, who has not played very much lately, he certainly will be playing all he wants and maybe more here for the remainder of this game.
23 games away from 1,000.
Now here's the draw. Taken by Brown. Brown clearing to center. Ramage broke it up. Brown able to pick it up again. Looking for Van Dorp. It bounced loose to Graham. A shot. Bester! That puck was behind him when he gloved it. Now gave it away. Here's a shot by Graham. Save, rebound. They score! Troy Murray with a puck up high. He waited till it came down below the shoulder and tapped it into the open net. The Leafs say it was a high stick, but Andy Van Hellemond says no, it's a good goal. 5-4 Hawks on Troy Murray, second of the game.
Van Dorp hacks that loose puck at the blue line to Graham. Graham rifles one. Looks like he's got Bester beaten. It's behind him. He makes a great glove save. Puts it in behind the net to Iafrate. He loses it. Quick turnaround by Graham. Off the shoulder, up in the air, and clearly the puck was below his shoulders. The stick was below his shoulders, and Troy Murray bats it in for his second goal of the game, his 14th of the year.
Dirk Graham the assist at 16:30. Chicago back in front 5-4. Here's Marois trying to center it. That's intercepted by Larmer. He shot it to center. Here comes Roenick over the line. Lost it in the Leaf zone. Now Larmer to the corner trying to center. Marsh stole that. And pushes it back into the Chicago zone. Bob Murray clearing ahead for Larmer. Marsh stepped into him along the boards, and they'll hold it there for a whistle.
Clark scored his 12th goal on the power play to make it 3-1 Toronto. And then Roenick, Larmer, and Larmer again gave the Hawks a 4-3 lead. Clark tied it up. And Troy Murray took the puck off, I afraid, or Todd Gill with a good check, spun him around. Dirk Graham, well, from that angle, it looked like the puck was above his shoulder. But too close to tell for Van Hellemond, and he rules in the Blackhawks' favor. The first angle looked like the puck was below his shoulder. From that angle, it looked like it might have been above his shoulder.
Now the play in the neutral zone. Conroy got it to Sutter. He flips it ahead, but McIntyre is back on the ice. He got it to Reed. Carrying it over the Hawk line. Here's McIntyre. A shot and a save by Chevrier. And he hangs on as McIntyre came to try to jam it loose. And Keith Brown says, don't mess with my goalie. Now we have Iafrate and Sutter. Iafrate with a right hand loose, landing a couple on Sutter, and now they hit the deck. Yet another altercation in a game full of them as Iafrate and Sutter will head to the penalty boxes.
McIntyre returns to the ice, doesn't get much on the shot, and then as Chevrier freezes it, he hacks at Chevrier's glove hand. A good play. Brown comes in to protect his goaltender. A bunch of players mill around the crease. Sutter comes in, then Iafrate comes in, and they decide to go at it. 2 minutes, 22 seconds to go, and as the periods go on, these players get more and more feisty, and altercations develop.
Fight. Toronto penalty, number 33, Al Iafrate, 5 minutes for fighting. Time 17:38. For Chicago, Dwayne Sutter, 5 minutes fighting. For Toronto, Al Iafrate, 5 minutes fighting.
Dirk Graham saying to Van Hellemond, it sure looks like to me that Iafrate came in and grabbed Sutter and started it, but there will be no instigation penalty here in the face-off outside the Chicago line. Here's the draw. Taken by March. Dumping it in. On the far side, Brown took a hit. He got leveled by McIntyre, but cleared it, and McIntyre heads off, shaken up. And the play is in the neutral zone. McIntyre off, hobbled for the second time in this period. He tried to level Keith Brown and got the worst of it. Here's Conroy in the lead zone. He's tied up. Out comes Reed. Dave Reed in on Troy Murray trying to cut for the net. A shot and his backhander went wide. Now Kerber is trying to center it. That hit the leg of Graham. Ahead for Vincelette. And Vincelette with a long slap shot. Alan Bester the pad save. Cleared back into the Hog zone. Bob Murray with Osborne in hot pursuit. Now Roenick swings it around the boards, held in by Gill. Over to the side of the net, slipped loose in behind. Osborne got it. Here's a centering pass from Olczyk that doesn't get through. And it's cleared back into the Toronto zone. Here's Greg Gilbert in the offensive end, cleared it behind the net, gets there himself. Gilbert turning, looking for some help, trying to center it. Roenick, a bouncing, but he scores! Jeremy Roenick hacked at a bounce puck. It went up into the air, and then out of midair, he swatted it in. His second unbelievable goal of the period with brilliant hand-eye skills, and the Hawks lead 6-4. Meanwhile, as the puck went in the net, Larmer got tangled with one of the Leafs in a brief altercation, but that's all for now.
Well, at least four of the goals have been swatted out of midair, even five. Larmer's goal was picked out of midair. Clark's was, Troy Murray's was, and now Roenick, his second out of midair. He fanned on his first attempt. The puck was fluttering as it came out to the slot area, deflected by Bester's stick. He goes to crank it up. It hops over his stick. It's in midair. He swats at it, and bang, it's in the net. The second time he's been able to do so. And Roenick gives the Hawks a 6-4 cushion with 56 seconds to go. Second time Roenick is swatted out of midair. Meanwhile, McIntyre's had a tough night. Tough game for the rookie. Tough weekend. He's been hobbled a couple of times. He came in to hit Brown and got the worst of it.
Gilbert and Larmer assisting Roenick on his second of the period and 8th of the year. And now Wendell Clark, as the goal is scored, gets a penalty for roughing up Larmer. So the Hawks lead by 2 and are on a power play now. Roenick cleared it to Creighton. Creighton over the leaf line, mishandled it. And Brad Marsh clears. Half a minute remaining in the second period. A 5-goal second period for Chicago as Bob Murray bangs one in there. Creighton on the near side. Creighton put it around the board. Brown cleared it behind the Leaf goal. Taken by Roenick. Poked off his stick. Now Roenick kind of gets to it on the far side. Bounced it behind the net. 5 seconds left. Centering pass eludes everybody. And that's going to do it for the second period. We've had it all in Maple Leaf Garden tonight. Physical play, dirty play, altercations, beautiful goal scoring, beautiful passing, amazing hand-eye coordination. There hasn't been much missed here in Maple Leaf Garden tonight. In the second period, Pat Foley and Dale Talon back in Toronto. The Hawks have exploded for 5 in the second and have taken a 6-4 lead over the Leafs, getting ready for the third period. Blackhawks will open this third with a power play for 64 seconds. That's the time left on a Wendell Clark penalty. Here's the draw. Larmer in over the Leaf line. Put it around to the far side. Russell able to hold it in for a moment. Then it's stolen away, and here come the Leafs. The race is on. Ramage over the line looking for Reed. He just barely failed to get any wood on that pass. And now the Hawks come back. Roenick got around to check. Cuts over the line, moving in, centered it. Oh, Creighton had an open net, and Ramage a great play to deflect the pass away, and now it's chopped up into the crowd. Good action at either end, and particularly Rob Ramage, who was in there deep offensively. Great hustle to get all the way back the other way to prevent a Chicago scoring chance.
Excellent work by Ramage. Carried the puck up the ice, tried to feed Reed for a shorthanded situation, and hustled all the way back to break up a 2-on-1 break, just getting back in time to break up the pass from Roenick to Creighton. Get a look at Carpenter and Keenan. Keenan, former coach of the Flyers. Carpenter, the former coach of the Devils. Meanwhile, Daou is over there to get some new lumber. And birthday greetings to the fine commentator. 36 years old. You get shortchanged at Christmas, you only get one present, or you get 2?
Is Mike Emmerich only 36 years old?
Happy birthday, pal. You're just like fine wine. It's better with age. We might drink a couple of liters tonight.
There's a pretty good chance. Here's the draw. Bob Murray trying to center one, deflected just wide by Graham. Rebound to the near side. Now they battle away along the boards, and it's cleared out to center ice. Troy Murray back into the Leaf zone. Got taken off the puck by Ramage, who's had a strong start to the third, and Reed will clear as the penalty expires. Both teams are back at full strength. Dirk Graham cleared to center, and the Hawks shoot it in. Now John Foose, his pass is picked off. Jeremy Roenick turning at center to wait for help. Now flips it into the Toronto zone. Clear to the near side. In the corner, here's a centering pass. Roenick, he scores! Jeremy Roenick, his first career hat trick as the Hawks forechecking takes its toll in the Toronto zone, and it's a 7-4 Blackhawk lead.
Well, this kid has really shown a lot of character. It was December 6th that Jeremy Roenick started his hot streak, and it was against these Toronto Maple Leafs. The Blackhawks were trailing 4-3. Troy Murray was thrown out of the game for third man in. Savard was given a misconduct. You see Roenick finish off the play in the feed from Santa Paz, his 9th goal of the year. But December 6th, the Hawks were trailing 4-3. Roenick scored 2 goals, set up another. The Blackhawks came from behind to beat Toronto, went on their winning ways, and Roenick has been on a tear ever since. That is 16 points in his last 8 games.
And remember, he had been struggling a little bit before that, and Mike Keenan sat him out for the previous game. And then the big game you mentioned against Toronto, after sitting out that one game, now in his last 9 starts, 7 goals, 9 assists in the last 9 games for JR, Jeremy Roenick. And here are the Leafs in offside. It's early in the third. It's Chicago 7, Toronto 4. This is Chicago Blackhawk hockey. Now the play in the Hog zone. Van Dorp on the far side. Got it to center and shoots it in. Clark overskating a bouncing puck. Now Bester put it to the near side. And Olczyk couldn't get it out. Bob Murray for Graham behind. Centered one. Van Dorp couldn't get any wood on it. And it's cleared to center ice. Now Clark back in his own end. Wendell Clark works his way to center ice. Flips it ahead. Taken by Brown for Roenick over the line. Jeremy Roenick centered one. Larmer put it back to Brown. Clearing it in behind the goal. Marsh is tied up, but Curvers picks it up and cleared to the neutral area. That Roenick hat trick goal is third tonight, ninth of the year. Gilbert and Santa Pass assisting at 133. 3 helpers in the game tonight for Greg Gilbert. It's cleared into the Leaf zone. Todd Gill gave it to Curvers. He flipped it out to center. Bob Murray stole it, putting it ahead for Creighton, but Franceschetti able to take him off the play. And back in his own end is Steve Conroy. Conroy to the left wing boards, Gilbert. Greg Gilbert carries it to the line with a long shot. Bester squeezing the pads together to make the save. And now Todd Gill comes back for Toronto. Gill put it back of the Chicago goal. Conroy trying to clear it. It's held in. Now Merwada down Foose. He shoots one and missed the target. Taken by Dan Vincelette, wearing number 29. Gave it to Graham over the line for Troy Murray. Murray peels off of the near board, was knocked down there. And here come the Leafs. Down Foose, 2-on-2. Over the Hawk line, left for Fergus. His shot up off the glass. And here's Troy Murray. Unable to field it off the board. And Fergus now got it to Marsh, who gets it in there deep. Merwa shaken up at center ice. The play is continuing. As Santa Pass moves ahead now, Merwa just still down, and finally referee Van Helleman stops the play, and Daniel Merwa will need some attention from the Leaf training staff. 5 minutes into the third period. Chicago 7, Toronto 4.
Merwa able to limp off in his own, but Merwa, who missed 11 games this year with a badly bruised shoulder, seemed to be favoring his left ankle.
Down the Toronto zone, Tom Curvers for the Leafs. Gave it to Olczyk. He shoots it in. All the way around to the near side, and Larmer starts the Blackhawks back. Larmer looking for Santa Pass. He's yanked down as he tried to corral it, and here's Osborne for Toronto. Got it to Olczyk, who turns and flips it ahead, but right to Vincelette. He's leveled at center by Gill, who had him lined up. Now Osborne over the line, shoots one, missed the target, and it caromed all the way back into the Leaf zone.
Todd Gill has really been throwing his weight around with some nifty, solid hits in the neutral zone. Clean hits.
And now we're going to have a penalty coming up against Toronto. They may have had too many out there. Let's see. Here's the whistle sounding, and it may be somebody from the Leaf bench.
Someone said something. Van Helleman didn't like it. It wasn't Merry Christmas, obviously.
I don't think that's been said at all on the ice surface tonight.
Blackhawks get a power play chance. A bench minor on Toronto. Obviously someone said something nasty to Van Helleman.
Bob Murray at the near point. Up the board to Larmer. Side of the net. Creighton shoots one. Bester rebound. Just eludes Roenick. And now Marsh will help his goaltender freeze the puck. But the Hawks moving it around beautifully in that sequence.
What happened? Roenick failed to pick one out of midair. I guess it was too low. Creighton tried the quick pass across, deflected, and Roenick swatted at it but missed it, and it trickled into Bester. Hawks with a wonderful opportunity to put this game away, up 7-4. At one time, 2 minutes and 5 seconds into the second period, the Blackhawks trailed 3-1.
Face off to the right of Alan Bester. And the draw to the Leafs. They clear. 20-year-old Cam Russell in just his 4th NHL game. Played a lot and played well tonight. Got it away to Roenick. Roenick in over the Leaf line, around a check. Now left it for Creighton, shooting. Oh, nice play by Daoud to get there and block it. Creighton behind the net. Now turns to the near corner. Gave it to Larmer. He fought off a hit. Now I afraid he knocked him down. They scuffle away along the board. Big scrum, and still Van Hellemond says play on. Now the Leafs pry it free and clear it out. A minute left on the Chicago power play. Bob Murray at center ice. Gave it to Graham. Back to Murray in his 15th year in the NHL. Now Keith Brown. Give it back to Murray. To Graham. And he'll bang it into the Maple Leaf end. And the far board sent a pass, gave it away, and the Leafs clear. Now Brown for Conroy on the far side. He gave it to Troy Murray, who's hauled down at center, ramaged the other way. And as he crossed the line, Osborne was well offside on the play.
We get 2 updates on Hawk injuries. It stated that Doug Wilson was cut across the knee. We get a report now that wasn't a cut, that he sprained his knee, and that Mike Hudson received 40 stitches in his hand. And at the end of the first period, Dennis Savard and Dave Manson were ejected from the game. The Hawks playing without 4 regular players, 4 of their top players. And Gary Lehman and Curran were ejected as far as the Leafs were concerned.
As they drop the puck, the Chicago power play is over and both teams back at full strength. Here's Roenick into the Toronto zone. Couldn't get around Gill. And it shot to center ice. Russell bangs it right back in. Gill. Got it to Vincent Danfus. Danfus to Fergus at center ice. Tom Fergus ahead for Marois. He's in. Daniel Marois shoots. He scores. Bob Murray tried to play the passing lane, but when he didn't get the pass, Marois was in, and it's 7-5 in favor of the Hawks.
Well, Marois, who limped off earlier, looked like he might not come back, but boy, a quick fix, and he comes back. Fergus. Russell and Bob Murray get crossed up a bit. And as Bob Murray was leading to his left, had to reach back to his right. The pass just eluded him, and then Marois fakes and beats Chevrier, puts it into an empty net. 7-5 now. A long way from over with 11:40 to go in the second period.
Fergus and Danfus assisting Marois at 8:20. And the Leafs keep their hopes alive, now trailing 7-5. There's the draw, cleared to center ice. Now taken by Adam Creighton. Had it poked away, but Brown covers up in his own end. Pushed it ahead for Gilbert. And he'll shovel it out to center ice. Leafs dump it back in. Keith Brown scurries to the far board to get it. And then Conroy cleared it to the Toronto line. Here's a steal by Bob Murray. Stopped as he tried to get in there. Here comes Clark on the counterattack into the Hawk zone. Shoots one. Nice save by Chevrier on a hard wrister from Wendell Clark. And now the Hawks come back. Troy Murray doesn't have any help as Chicago's changing players. He got it in there deep. Ramage put it to the near side. Held in by Brown. A long shot sails wide. Now Graham jams it loose. Here point to Brown. Again to Graham along the boards. Back to Brown. They play catch. Graham has it. Centered one. Here's Conroy shooting. Bester the save. Rebound. And Sutter was stopped at the defense. Rebound. Bester stopped that on a good Chicago chance. Now Ramage cleared it around the boards. Graham will hold it in there. Back of the net. Sutter trying to center it. Picked off in front. Now Bester diving headlong, and he'll manage to cover it up.
Blackhawks' third period has been terrific this year. They've been excellent at protecting leads. If they hang on to this 2-goal lead with 1:53 to go, it'll be the 16th win and only one tie, and 17 times they've had the lead. That's a great statistic. And they've done it by using short shifts and not sitting back. They've been aggressive and forechecking, playing it in the other half of the ice and not sitting back. One man that will be totally gratified after this game. Disappointment last night, but gratification tonight. Losing 4 men in the first period and being able to come from behind to win this game. A nice Christmas present for Keenan and the Blackhawks.
Van Dorp back of the Leaf net. Gets some help from Troy Murray. He's knocked down. Trying to muck it up along the board. Doesn't mind wasting time in the offensive zone. And finally, Iafrate came up with it. Minute and a half to go. Here's Clark. In over the line. Knocked away by Graham nicely. And it's cleared to center. Then Olczyk on a feet ahead. That hit a leg to Van Dorp. Iafrate knocked him down. And they scramble away in front of the Hawk bench. And the whistle sounds. You were referring back to your playing days a while ago and talking about how good it is as a player to have just a few defensemen available, but the mitigating circumstances here tonight, when you look at the 4 Hawk defensemen, you got a kid in his 4th game, Russell, 20 years old. You got Bob Murray, who has sat out the last 3 games. He's played regularly, of course, since the tail end of the first period. And you've got Brown and Conroy, all these people getting in at 4:30 in the morning last night. A very physical game tonight. Boy, you certainly have to take your hats off to the Hawk defense corps, what's left of it in this game.
It's been outstanding. The whole team, I mean, it's an unbelievable effort. Down 3-1 early in the second period.
There goes Bester to the bench. 6 attackers for Toronto. Here's a shot. Oh, Marois, glorious chance to get him close, and he shot it into the seat. Toronto got just what they wanted there. The puck right to the doorstep, and Marois all alone, and he shot it upstairs.
Well, Marois came into the league as a rookie last year, said he would score 30 goals, had a torrid second half, did score 30 or more, and I think it might have gotten a piece of Chevrier's glove and the crossbar, but up into the seats with 58 seconds to go, they ruled it was touched off the crossbar, so the faceoff goes to the neutral zone. But Marois just inches away from getting his 3rd goal of the game.
With the draw in the neutral area, Bester back on the ice now for a moment. And the draw shot down by Troy Murray into the Leaf end.
What a performance by Troy Murray. Going 16 games without a goal. He's 2 goals tonight and a brilliant performance at both ends.
Now Fergus into the Hawk zone. Bester off again. 6 attackers for the Leafs. Down Foose behind, trying to center it. Big scramble in front. Russell pushed it over to the board. Held in by Ramage. Here's the shot. Well wide. Rebound. Up over the stick of Danfus. Now the Leafs hold it in. Danfus lost it to Troy Murray, and a whistle. A penalty is coming up here against the Blackhawks, I believe. Let's see.
Signal is a holding call, and I think it's Keith Brown. He goes to the penalty box with 28 seconds to go. This will give the Hawks a free crack at an empty net. They won't have to worry about an icing, and sometimes that's a positive. Because a lot of times with even strength, you're reluctant to shoot it hard out of your zone. because you don't want to get an icing and you fail to clear in the process. But with Ramage cranking it off the end boards, that might have been a design play. The boards very lively here at Maple Leaf Gardens. He shot it to the short side boards. It came right out through the goal mouth and just missed the Leaf player, Damphousse.
So in the last minute, both Marois and Damphousse with brilliant opportunities, but unable to cash them in. Face off to the right of Chevrier. 6 skaters for the Leafs, 4 for the Hawks. Here's Kerber's a long shot, and Marois just missed tipping that into the open side. Comes to the near corner. Conroy hammers it back into the neutral zone. 15 seconds left. Here's Damphousse in over the line, cutting in, shooting. Chevrier, rebound, cleared to the far side. Kane loose in front. Kerber's blocked at the defense. Bob Murray made the block, and then it's cleared to center. Hawks win. The Blackhawks win. They were shorthanded. They were down 3-1 early in the second. They rally for a miraculous come-from-behind victory to beat the Leafs for the third time in 4 starts in the season series. It's a tired bunch.